Well, talk about I'm back on the video. I will be doing Conway's presenting in a bit. But as these reviews are going on, as I said in my previous one, I'm reviewing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 3 Ignition, which is just basically a AI upscale scale version of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which you just watch virtually on either on Netflix or Tubi in the US, or just get the season 1 or just get all 3 seasons on DVD. Yeah, they only have 3 seasons on DVD. They did release some of the seasons on DVD, like Complete Set, Power Rangers SPD, and Mystic Force. None of the other seasons. I don't know why. Why is the UK getting the short end of the stick when it comes to this stuff? I get Mighty Morphin's iconic, but there are more seasons too. I do think Mighty Morphin is good, don't get me wrong, but I'm not biased towards it because I'm not a 90s kid, I'm a 2000s kid. And my introduction to Power Rangers was SPD in 2005. I'm just saying, I like the season complete box sets of each era. They should release a special box set comparing the Zordon era. I'm serious, they should release a special box set that contains the Zordon era. I thought I would treat my fans to relive the continuity heavy run of the original Mighty up the start, from Mighty Morphin up to In Space. Does it relies on continuity a bit? You already seen the previous seasons. So having a box set based on the Zordon era will work. We really make money on the Mighty Morphin era. The Mighty Morphin was they still make money, but also include other seasons too that feature the Zordon era. It's just sad that Mighty Morphin's the only thing to remember. Yes, it was iconic, but it was a typical 90s show. No character growth. Like, the characters never went through arcs. It's just typical. Character has something to do, has some sort of dilemma in the episodes, and they overcome that dilemma by the end of the episode. And everything goes back to the status quo. There's nothing wrong with that. As I said, it was probably okay for the 90s. But people just, I don't care. Compared to modern seasons, Mighty Morphin is just simple. It's very much a slog, kind of tough to get through for modern fans. Unless you're really relying on nostalgia, it'll be very tough to rewatch the original Mighty Morphin series. Aren't you going downstairs, mister? My cat wasn't here for a little bit. He only comes in, I don't know why he comes in my room when he's not really affectionate much. He doesn't jump on bed. He doesn't cook.
There's a pile of cuddlies in there. Tomorrow with Shannon and sort them out with her.
Right.
Which ones you want to, because I have to get rid of a lot of stuff here, Callum.
I'll go downstairs, Louie.
Where is he? Out!
Oh shit, I've got the pause. Sorry, I've got the pause. Right, enough topic. So, all 60 episodes will air until December 9th, 2025. Then maybe you might do, I don't know if they're going to plan to. No, they're not. Like, I think they should remake Power Rangers. We make Mighty Morphin, but with more modern writing. Not what I don't mean like modern, like modern audience. No, I don't mean like that. I mean with modern writing with TV, like character drama, all that stuff. Well, like make it something like Power Rangers Time Force, which was a well-written series. Characters went through arcs, grow everything. There's stakes and everything. Yeah, In Space really improved on Power Rangers formula, really growing it. Time Force is one of the best written seasons of the Saban era. You have to admit that. I mean, can't understand though why was so popular, and why Japan doesn't really doesn't really care much when it comes to picking one specific season. It's because it's already done because it's a concept already done in Japan many times. I mean, Ultraman has been doing this since the 60s. So it's nothing new for them, so which makes sense. Well, for Power Rangers, it's a whole new concept. I mean, that was never something that we never probably got, like a superhero show like that in tokusatsu form. Weird, by the way, I actually want to mention something weird. Marvel and Toy had a weird deal back in the 70s. Basically, allowed each other to use any of the properties. I mean, it's long before they acquired such franchises. So I don't know what anime Toy was known for at the time. I really don't know what anime they were known for at the time, but they could use any characters from Toy's massive library. But Marvel didn't, but Toy took advantage of that deal and created unique stuff. Great adaptation of Spider-Man, which is a well done series, but it's definitely a lot more episodic than Sentai and Kamen Rider. You know? But it's quite a unique show. Shame is just not properly available worldwide. Like, Disney has a 616 documentary on the streaming service called 616 where they cover a lot of stuff. A lot of Marvel media. And the first episode was all about the Japanese Spider-Man series. And the Japanese Spider-Man got referenced in the comics during Spider-Verse events. But Marvel refuses to release any... I understand they don't want anything to do with the character because he's a lot more violent compared to, you know, the regular Spider-Man. But they should at least kept the character alive, that version alive in Japan. So this is quite a unique take. And I can make... And that deal could have been way unique too. Actually made unique versions of each Sentai of each Marvel character into the universe with their own unique versions. Maybe crossover with Sentai and Kamen Rider. I'm getting off topic. You get my point. Let's get to the episode. High five. Which is a episode. And I don't know the plot. But mostly this is basically inspired from episode 2 of G-Ranger. You know, because it's a 2-part open episode. I think. Sorry, I don't know. I'm not seeing G-Ranger at all. So I'm really curious to see what that's like. I'm looking forward to covering the Green Reveal story arc in the future. I'm going to cover that as a separate story. Since you can actually get a separate DVD release here. Yeah, there's actually a DVD release of the Green Reveal Spy Parlor on one DVD, on one case. So let's get into the episode. So yeah, the episode opens out with, well, Zach, Jason, and Kimberly are doing some acts in the rope climbing. Trini's worried because she's not actually good at heights. So this is a Trini central episode. Alright, Billy comes in. Well, got a news to share, but do this is a comedic shenanigans with Jason accidentally landing on him, or was it on purpose? Bulk and Skull come in being jerks as always. Bet they can do what Jason can. And Bulk immediately failing. Bouncing himself as always. God, you gotta love Bulk and Skull. I really miss. It was just a performance of Paul Schreier and Jason Novi that was so iconic with these characters. And how they were written too. Like, the writers decided to keep them as bullies. In season 1 they were bullies. Season 2 they had a mission to find out who the Power Rangers are. In season 3 they joined the police academy. Season 4 they're detectives. Season 5... well, policemen again. Well, mostly monkeys for the first half. This was for one episode. You have a point with that one. in season 6, in the 7th season in space, they're working with scientists, and they had a big moment in the two-part finale. But honestly, it was the whole point keeping Oak around in. Just saying, why do you have to keep Bulk around in Lost Galaxy if he rarely appears? I'm not joking. Like, he rarely appears in Lost Galaxy. So, like, this, why the hell did they put him there? No, why? I think they were kind of like, they couldn't get Jason Knight back. They could have just found different, creating a unique dynamic between Bulk and New Power Rangers. Him using like, Bulk tries like what Bulk and the rest of the rest give the Rangers advice, and they would, when they visit the bar. That could have worked for Bulk's character, showing his growth. He's an idiot. He can sometimes have good advice. That would be pretty good, and still get comedy out of him. But no, they decided to relegate him to like 3 or so episodes, I think. Yeah, I don't know why. But anyway, alright, so we've got to Rita, who was going on next plan to send the Power Rangers in a time warp like Zordon and go and stuff for a monster. He's actually making a new monster right now for her. And in Junior, this was basically our introduction to how they summon how monsters appear. I think we haven't had that in a while, actually. Yeah, think about sometimes seasons, they create monsters, but sometimes seasons have monsters appear who are existing aliens, not creations. That type of stuff. Anyway, so she uses bones to trap the Rangers in a time warp. Billy shows up his new invention. He basically made communicators to communicate with each other at the command center. Test it out. They accidentally teleport to the command center. Billy accidentally hacked into the teleportation devices. Zordon is impressed with that, and decides to have Alpha work on them for a bit. They can be useful ways of teleportation. Get in here quickly without Zordon properly teleport them. Obviously, teleportation was a thing added in Power Rangers, so they could explain why they're in different locations very easily. Which is a smart way to move around any plot holes. Like, why in this location when they're just in a different one? Some seasons don't exactly do that properly. But again, the only reason the teleportation thing is probably created was to avoid any plot holes, so why the background's different, so they can probably transition to Sentai footage. That way they can throw away any plot holes that could be created from them. So, yeah. Anyway, Zordon was notified about Rita's new monster. No. Zordon was notified about some putties nearby. So he sends her to look. But Rangers really get spoiled by putties. Whether or not they must make sure they need to morph at the right time. Basically, they must try and handle themselves before morphing. It's a really interesting combat. And Jason, Zach, and Kimberly have a very unique attack, to say the least. Billy ends up running away from the putty. He ends on top of a cliff. Trini's worried. Billy's not really a capable fighter yet, so he accidentally drops his power morpher too. But Trini trying to go over fear to rescue him. And she managed to basically make the putty just fall off on his own, by the way. So yeah, Jenny's really brave. As we have seen, we got to read the monster. We just sent her device to track the Rangers in the time warp, which is obviously a space shuttle. When I wasn't familiar with Jew Ranger, I wondered why it looked like a freaking space shuttle. Also, the little detail, it has the Japanese flag on them. Like, it's pretty obvious. It's a Japanese shuttle. Yes, they should have really explained. Like, yeah, obviously Japanese stuff is really hard to get rid of in the 90s, but they should have found an explanation why have red circles. Like, if they had budget to create original footage with Barbara Goodson. Well, as you know, whenever Rita appeared in original footage, she's always had her face covered. So, she was shadow and stuff. Mostly the first time she ever appeared interactively on Earth was in the Green Evil storyline, which we'll get there. I think I'll say that when we actually get to the Green with Evil story. One of those epic 5-part episodes. So yeah, as they use the Sentai footage with a rocket, which, yeah. Obviously, the Jew Rangers out in the trap to rescue, well, basically in the Sentai. The astronauts that just disappeared in the first episode were actually part of the story. The Jew Rangers were summoned to rescue them. Woken to rescue them. But they failed to do that in the previous part. And also, there's a weird little plot hole, kind of I don't know if it counts as a plot hole, but unless it's probably the footage, but still. Okay. So when it opens the portal for the time warp, you notice a little detail. Basically, the American one has a different looking windows on the front. If you pay attention, you'll be able to notice the windows look different, more grey than black. But I get it's cheap. They probably tried to recreate it. It was pretty cheap. Since, they're on cheap budget and stuff. So, I can do that. Especially with something that comes a little later. So, especially something that comes a little later in the season. But we'll get there when we get to that storyline. He's almost notified, but he does praise Chewie for bravery. You get over here. And now, since it's the monster, it's morphing time. Again, I just love it when a theme plays when they morph. I just not a fan of the music. Change it to generic sound of music in season 2. If you like that music, that's fine, but me, I prefer it when the song plays when they morph. It just makes it sound so cool. At least to me. But it just does have good morph music too. I mean, the morph was very simple in the first season, in the first 3 seasons. One is just holding the morph out and saying the dinosaur names with different colored backgrounds and stuff. It is very simple green screen stuff. It's pretty simple, which, yeah, is understandable. So remember that though. I mean, it's still one of those iconic morphs. I kind of wish they gave that whole that happens every time when it ends on Tyrannosaurus, but when they morph. I wish they added that effect to all the Rangers. Honestly, during the better footage, but they could easily just recreate that footage, but with different helmets. Like, you could easily just recreate that footage. So they do eventually get the suits physically for original footage. And I forgot to mention this, but in the Sentai, Yellow was actually a male. Yeah, but Saban changed it to gender equality and shit. Gender imbalance. Yeah, except that comes a little bit, but that was something from the 90s, so, because times have changed, because if you think of other teams that only have one girl on it, They never did that for, like, seriously, when you think about it. We never had a female Six Ranger either, actually. Gold and Silver technically counts-ish, but she's lumped in with Gold on Gold, so it makes it a duel, technically doesn't count. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, Rangers and Count Bones at the Morphin and teleporting the location. And Bones traps them in the time warp. Now, this is obviously Pandora's other dimension and shit. All I can say is what I do know about the Sentai footage. Interesting enough, you can tell what's Sentai footage and what isn't in modern seasons. It's very easy to tell in the older seasons just by the quality, because using different filming techniques. But in modern seasons, you can easily tell. I didn't even know this until I watched a YouTube video by Brendan Mejia, who played Thailand Power Rangers Dino Charge. That suits in the Sentai, spandex in the Sentai are more shinier. So it's one thing to look out for to tell which footage is Sentai or not. Is in the later seasons. So if you're interested in finding out what season Sentai was original, go take a look. Go watch the seasons of modern seasons and try and point it out. Otherwise, I talk about, I don't know, maybe some of the Disney seasons also at that, I don't know. Let me watch those. And the Rangers are finding some police in Moscow and Babu try to block the device so the Rangers will be trapped here. Where are finding Bones? But he managed to stop Squad and Babu from that, and also to beat Bones, and Tina was able to beat Bones. But it's not over as we summons a monster that never appeared before, and takes Jason and grabs Jason. Yeah, I don't know much about him, but that was obviously in the Sentai. That it literally appeared in part during the whole shuttle rescue thing before the Jew Rangers first transformed. But that's the reason why. It's the reason, the monsters have got. It took the people and stuff. So yeah. But luckily, Jason managed to get free by blasting the monster. As he summons the Tyrannosaurus. Now, I said this in a previous video, but in case you're wondering why they don't use the Megazord for this, that's because in the Sentai, the Megazord's not formed until episode 5. So basically, it kind of, you understand the Russian and Megazord, but that kind of leaves a bit of plot holes of why they don't use the Megazord at first. And even more plot hole when we get to the episode that actually uses Daijujin's debut. If you get what I mean. So wait till we get there. That's going to be one hell of a plot hole to try and explain. Yeah, Jason melts it in the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is a really cool all about. And the monster, this giant, is defeated, never seen again or mentioned again. As Rita's definitely annoyed and has another headache. I love Barbara Goodson. I love Barbara Goodson as Rita. She just put, and it's obviously inspired by. She was obviously inspired by the Wicked Witch of the West. Well, no, not inspired. She was told to do a Wicked Witch of the West impression. The White Witch was played by Margaret Hamilton, the late Margaret Hamilton. I didn't really suit Rita, even though that's not exactly what Bandora was. Bandora was probably more recognizable to many Japanese fans. Another role by Machika Soga, who was a well-known actress in Sentai at the time. Her last Sentai appearance was in 2005's Maho Sentai Magic Ranger. And Power Rangers actually did a smart move at tying it into the book continuity. Making Rita, who, spoiler, becomes good due to the Z-Wave in space. He retains all her magic and uses for good as a Mystic Mother. That was a good move, but the Mystic Mother wasn't built up well. But most likely they cut down a lot of the Magic Ranger footage. I think. I don't know. They're lazy not to get Bob Crimson. It's a double performance. Yeah, sometimes the show can be really lazy, especially during the Disney era. When guys have fucking voiceovers. Because Disney is stingy. It's stingy. Yeah, that. If the gym, back in the gym juice spot, I was discussing with a customer, I think, I don't know, about 5 superheroes who show up calling themselves the Power Rangers. Intriguing. Actually, she never wants to do that again. She doesn't want to do that whole thing again. That's when Zach comes in a surprise, comes in to scare her. And she has that kind of rope. Quite comedic. And yeah, so this is a really good Trini focused episode. It just decided to use focus on Trini in the second episode. Like, seriously, this is like the second episode, and yet the first focused character was Trini. You know that a great, and it was a tribute to Lake Tweetran. Now this week's Morphin Minute was about the Yellow Ranger Trini. They didn't bother to. Obviously, didn't bother to talk. I think the Morphin Minute could have told a good job about the actors portraying the Rangers. Talk a little bit about the life, the time, what led into the show and stuff. And some tragic things that happened too. That'd be good educational for a lot of modern kids who probably don't know about these characters. But, oh well. Anyway, that ends the episode. Anyway, I'm looking forward to episode 3, which, again, I've seen all of season 1 of Mighty Morphin, so, yeah. But, I'm looking forward to talking about them now. It's going to be typical Power Ranger stuff, but, yeah, it's going to be fun to review them. So, thank you guys for watching. Enjoy my content. Please like, subscribe if you want to see more. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell if you always future, and I'll see you guys later for coming out of Gav and number 1 Sentai Go Chuja. Sayonara.